You all have been maybe wondering where I'm shooting these videos, and I was going to show you a little around my venue here. This is my back patio, and these are my production assistants. I've got Tippy, King down there, and Princess here. Got a really nice pergola here we had put in recently. A little bit of landscaping, some nice patio furniture. This COVID-19 pandemic has been rough on everybody, and it's possible that the reason I'm doing this is because of the shutdown of everything. So I'm enjoying doing this, and I hope you all are enjoying watching it. It's been kind of interesting. So we will continue with videos. Please subscribe, share, and watch my videos. I appreciate it very much. Hello y'all, thanks for coming back to my videos. This section is still at Fort Ord, California, and a holdover at Fort Ord waiting to go to Vietnam. And so these last few letters are to my folks and various people, and just kind of explaining the situation and looking forward to getting to the country. This was March 8th. Dear Mom and Dad, I am still here and expecting to go at any time. I'm ready to go now, and I'm looking forward to it. Don't sit around waiting for me to call, because I will have at least 2 days before I will leave. I will probably go over on a ship, with flying still a possibility. A lot of people went to Vietnam on ships. I heard many horrible stories about what that trip was like, because it took many, many days, and we were all hoping to be able to fly. And but there was a lot of ship back and forth, and it wasn't a pleasant trip, I understand. Thanks for the $2 she sent me. That was a surprise to me. I don't know what they were for, but they were appreciated, I assure you. It sure must be nice weather down there. It has not been too good here the last 2 weeks, with rain and clouds and wind. It should be better from now on, though. I'm just getting over my cold and feeling much better. Being out here has been a nice winter, though, with mild weather prevailing. Out in Northern California, the best weather is in the winter, and in the summertime it's foggy and rainy. If you watch Pebble Beach Golf, you'll see a lot of fog and that type of thing at that place, and it's really not very pleasant. But it was nice while I was there. I went down to Santa Barbara this past weekend and had a wonderful time. I left Saturday morning on the bus and got down there about 2:45 p.m., about 300 miles. When I got down there, it was cloudy but warm. Blue sky finally broke through just before dark, and it was beautiful. The city is on the ocean in an area called the Santa Barbara Channel, and is in a good weather location. The temperature was in the high 60s, and the locals called this a cool spell. After what I was used to, it was nice and warm. I found a nice little motel near the beach for $6, including a TV and coffee. It was very comfortable. The lady who ran the place was real nice and was very helpful in finding places to go. She has other servicemen who are regulars of hers, and they call her Mom, so you can see that she must be real nice. If I go there again, I plan to stay there again. A side note, after staying at that little motel, this lady named Mom, and I don't remember her actual name, sent me Christmas cards for probably 10 years after I stayed there, maybe longer. I always got a Christmas card from her. That was very special. Santa Barbara is really pretty, with the mountains coming almost down to the sea in all Spanish type architecture. There's a large downtown area with residential areas all around the downtown area. The University of California at Santa Barbara is just outside of town in Goleta. I didn't get out that way, but I could see it from the bus. I only had 23 hours in Santa Barbara, so I didn't see much, but I want to go back and see more of it later. I took a bunch of pictures while there, and we'll send you some. On the way down, our bus ran across a group of motorcyclists like Hell's Angels. I don't mean we ran over them, but we saw them on the side of the road, surrounded by policemen and highway patrolmen. They were just about to take over Santa Maria, about 100 miles above Santa Barbara. The cops were there to make sure they didn't do anything wrong while they were there. They were in town along with Hell's Angels to help make a movie just outside of town. While we were there at the bus station in the town, the police escorted them through, and I took several pictures of them. They really had this town in a tizzy over them. You could feel the tenseness and excitement in the air. Many of the townspeople were afraid they would tear their town apart if they came to town. There had been rumors of their coming to town for weeks, and they were really scared. They saw me taking pictures, the motorcyclist saw me taking pictures and waved a big wave to me in a friendly manner. There were about 12 of them on 10 motorcycles, and they really put on a show. In my job, I answer the phone and type letters, clean up around the chapel, act as a receptionist when people come in looking for the chaplain. I have to be here on some Sundays to set up for the service, and I have to keep all the brass clean. We also have a patient card system so the chaplains can visit patients of their denominations and can find them by looking in our files. This usually takes a few hours in the mornings. The days pass real fast, and the job isn't at all boring. I've been here almost 4 weeks, and it almost seems like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, so I guess it'll be all right. Gotta go. Love, Donnie. So that was kind of cute. 17th of March. Dear Mom and Dad, I thought I was going to have to call you yesterday after getting a call here at work. The voice on the phone said I was to report to the company headquarters at 12:30 for alert for shipment, and I thought I was leaving almost immediately. When I got there, I found I had already done everything I was supposed to do about 6 weeks ago, and I returned to work as usual, so I can go at any time again. I'm still hoping for my orders to be changed to Fort Sam or Radmac in Corpus Christi. That's true. I might even be able to be stationed in Corpus if there's a chaplain there. I found out that my mail service is much improved by sending all mail through the chapel here. I get mail in 1 day through here. I have told you the address. The weather here is very strange lately. One day it is warm in the high 60s, while the next day is in the 40s. The temperature will vary so much within 1 day that you dare not forget your coat, lest you freeze when you go somewhere. It should settle down soon and be real spring-like. We have had some real warm days, and they are really nice, just like home about this time of year. There's a lot less humidity here, about 60% most of the time. I'm practically broke again, and if there's a check enclosed, please send me a money order for the amount as soon as possible. I noticed on the outside of the letter it said $20. I guess I spend too much money for what I make. Next month I won't do this, and I will try to save some. That's all for now, and if there's any more, I will write right away. Call if there's any important news. Love, Donnie. Oh, nice. So, right about this time, apparently, I was granted 2 weeks leave. And apparently, and again, I don't have this written anywhere that I can see, I went back to Corpus Christi for a couple of weeks before I shipped out to Vietnam. So because I was gone, there was no reason to write, I guess is the main reason. So I didn't write that down. I didn't have a diary at the time. So I'm in Corpus Christi, and then I have to ship out to Vietnam. So that means I have to go to Oakland, California, to be Travis Air Force Base, I think it is, and to get out of there. So I'm released from Corpus, and I'm on the way to Travis, or wherever it is at that base in Oakland. So I sent a card, had another one of these little postcards, and here's what it says. It says, and this is dated April 12th. So my last post was around the 24th of March, so that's about 2 weeks. So apparently I had a chance to go to Corpus. Dear folks, I arrived in San Francisco at 10:50 a.m. So I decided to go downtown and go to Oakland later. I'm now on a cable car headed up Hyde Street. San Francisco is really different and very pretty. Now I'm sorry I waited so long to come here. Little pause there, and then it says, I am now in the Emporium, which is a large department store. We'll keep you posted on what happens, Donnie. So that was my last message to the folks, and then I'm heading on a plane to Vietnam, and here's the very first letter that was sent back to the folks from Vietnam. It's a long one. This is April 24th, 1966. Dear Mom and Dad, well, I finally got to where I was going. At least, I hope I don't move anymore. I waited so long to write that I could put down a return address so you could send me a letter back directly to me. The address on the orders is wrong, so don't address any more there. My flights went straight through from Corpus to San Francisco, and I arrived there at 10:50 and was walking around downtown San Francisco before noon. That's pretty fast traveling, I think. After looking around San Francisco for a while, I decided to get to Oakland before dark, so I went and got processed and got a bunk. We stayed there 3 days and 2 nights, and on Friday evening left for Travis Air Force Base, about 1.5 hours away. We got checked in there and flew out of Travis at 12:30 Saturday morning and arrived in Hawaii, Honolulu, at about 8 a.m. It is truly a beautiful state, even what little I saw, for we only stayed there 1 hour. That was a refueling stop in Hawaii. We took off again and arrived in Wake Island sometime in the afternoon. Wake is just a speck of coral in the ocean with an airport and about 2,000 people. Very pretty though, with pretty coral beaches, but very hot and sultry. Our plane was an old DC-7 owned by Saturn Airlines, and boy was it slow. To Wake from the U.S. took 16 hours. From Wake to Manila, Philippines, was 11 hours straight through, and Manila to Saigon takes 3.5 hours. It was lucky I slept about 24 of the 31 hours of the flight. Back in those days, there was a lot of contract carriers that took people to Vietnam, and apparently Saturn Airlines was one of them. I can attest to this. It wasn't a quality airline at the time, especially a piston engine DC-7 that was very slow and very cramped, I remember, and also very loud. When we arrived in Vietnam, the first thing I noticed was the foreign smell in the air and the extreme heat. We arrived about 7 in the morning, and to us it seemed like it was 100 degrees already. Actually, it was cooler than that, but it was very humid. From there we moved to Camp Alpha, which is the replacement station for all air shipments to Vietnam. 2 days before we got there, they were shelled, and 2 men were killed and 70 injured. The VC shelled only once while I was there, but it didn't hit near us. The day I got there, the water well went bad, and we didn't have any water the whole time I was there. After 3 days of not being able to eat very well, I wasn't hungry, and being thirsty, we packed our bags to the airport, loaded them onto a plane, and found out the plane was going to Korea. So we, 100 of us, unloaded our bags and went back to Camp Alpha. The next day, we got another plane, so we packed our bags back to the airport, and this time we didn't even get off the bus. When we got there wasn't any plane, so we turned around and went back to Camp Alpha. Now remember, we had to lug the bags around with us, and they weigh about 50 pounds apiece. The third time we left, we had a plane, and we flew on a C-130 transport, and we enjoyed it because it was air conditioned. Oh, you're probably wondering about my assignment in Saigon. Well, there is a reassignment team at Camp Alpha, and they change everyone that comes in to fit the needs of the Army at that time. So now, I'm glad I'm not staying in Saigon. I am now stationed with the 35th Engineering Group at Cam Ranh Bay. I believe there's an article in the National Geographic on this place, as they are building a port here, and it's supposed to be one of the largest in the world someday. Cam Ranh Bay is a natural harbor with mountains all around and clear blue water around. The base here is on a peninsula that is similar to Padre Island, in that it is a sand spit. The whole place is built on sand because that's all there is to build on. There are mountains all around us, and I live right on the beach, which stretches about a mile between two hills of sand and rocks. The sand is like the sand at Padre, only coarser, but not as coarse as California sand. Our company is in the sand, and the sand is real soft, and it makes it hard to walk in. The color is sort of the same color as pine wood is, sort of orangish yellow. And in the daytime, you have to wear shoes or you will burn your feet. The mountains are lush green and are thickly overgrown. There is usually 5 or 6 ships out in the harbor every day, and there was a ship called the SS Corpus Christi Bay, and I met a man from Corpus who was on that ship. That was a helicopter repair ship from our area here that was repairing helicopters out in the bay there, the ones that they could do. Cam Ranh Bay is the safest place to be in Vietnam right now because of its location and because it is fortified very well and is guarded by the Koreans with artillery. If you read in the papers that this place was hit by the VC, don't worry about it because this is a very large place and we are not in an important part of the base. I have not started working yet, but we'll probably start Monday the 25th. I have met a chaplain's assistant that lives here and has only a week left. He said that he does mostly driving for the chaplain, and he does a little administrative work also. They have 2 services a week. He said that I would be traveling a lot. It is not an MA-60 assignment. Apparently that was my MOS number, and I don't know what happened to it. I'll let you know what I'm doing as soon as I can. If you have sent me an email, I don't know if I'll get it or not, since I don't have the right address on them. I also had slides sent to me under that address. The living quarters are tents with wood frames and cement floors. They have regular Army beds and a reasonable amount of space. The food is only fair so far, but they have to get their food from the U.S., and that's quite a trick. They show movies from Hollywood every night, which keeps us from getting homesick. The beach is nice here, and I have been going swimming every day. There isn't any surf at this particular place, but I'm going to try to find some. It is much cooler here than in Saigon because of the sea breezes, and at night is real nice. All in all, this is a nice place, and I hope it will pass real fast. Hope time will pass real fast, and I can come home again. I want you to know that I love you both, and I want you not to worry about me over here, for I'll be all right. I'll let you know what I'm doing while I'm here, and I'll take pictures too. Love, Donnie. So that's my original first letter from Vietnam. And it sounds like I'm off to a pretty good start there. There's more to come. We'll get on with that soon, and stay tuned for another episode. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and like and share. That gets it out to more people. And please, feedback. Love to hear from your comments, and if you have any questions, I'll be trying to answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll say goodbye now. See you later.